has to be under the common rule. So that's basically also the infrastructure we're building. You have to use these rules to use it. There's no way to hack it. It is, we're not sending gold ever across the internet.
Yeah, don't say that.
No, I mean it's not the
You're gonna make it a challenge for me, and I will hack it.
yeah.
So don't do that.
It's very similar to
I am very competitive.
we
I I won fucking
so I can
tournament.
say it again because this is back in the day they used to send gold in a cart between Florida
Oh yeah, yeah.
and basically the gold got stolen, right? And they took a long time.
I like that.
And then one day they started using a notarized receipt, and so it took a piece of paper from one bank to the other, and they took the gold out. So
So
that
do
means
you
it
have
was
the flashes?
impossible to steal the gold in
I'm
transit
hungry, bro.
because it didn't no longer transit. So what I'm talking about is it's impossible to hack this because we're no longer sending our data across the internet. That's basically it. You can be hacked in the other way, but the exposure that we all have, this digital privacy problem caused by the U.S. government, is gone if you do not send your data across the internet and if you keep it local. So with this code of conduct and this technology, that's what happens. So you just know that's basically removes that risk vector, which is very hard to explain to people because people think we're enslaved, right? And we don't have a choice. And we've been bred for years, and this is they spend millions and millions on doing this. This infrastructure, IAB infrastructure, is a lot of money, and they run, it costs them to run every day to do this thing. So I can one thing.
Just to let you know, can I say something quickly? Just for him, because he's nervous about being on camera. I now have both cameras, so I have this camera looking at me only, so the angle you don't show, and this camera looking at Mark. What's being streamed live on YouTube and Twitch is this camera. The other one is just showing me, example, on my Discord server. And there's nobody watching, but people can
Well, we
join in.
want Timmy to watch in the future, hopefully.
Yeah, that's being recorded on my YouTube channel
Got
as we
was sick
speak.
today. Writing would work.
I hope it wasn't me, but like, he would have gotten sick before.
So you,
I sit beside Hebe, by the way.
so you gonna introduce yourself?
Oh shit. Do I wanna do that? Yes. I mean, I really introduce myself to Anthony. Who am I? My name is Francisco Leon Valencia. I am open and transparent about my legal doings, not about my legal ones, which I don't have that many, but some. uh, like my last job was Warner Brother Games. I am one of the main. I like this, my ego is a little too big. I need to work on that. I kind of want to do DMT tonight. I love psychedelics. They open your mind. I did all the research behind them, and I trusted some of my I do not do well, and you should know this. I do not do well with people who are not smart.
Okay.
Let me finish, please. I will get angry.
Get on topic.
Okay, I'm talking about me. Fuck you. the the Because I think it's important for everybody who listens to this to know who I am and who's gonna be your fucking CPO. The I don't work well with people who are not smart enough for me. I'm not asking them to be as smart as me because that's very hard, but they need to have a level of intelligence and respect, and they need to demonstrate it, which causes me very many problems in life. Because people like the security person and most security guards in Canada are no resource, not very smart people, which caused me a lot of trouble, which ended up with me in prison recently, in jail before, because my own security guards of my own building.
Okay, there is actually a responsible restriction on
No, fuck that shit. I should be able to go to my spa whenever I want. We went
people
over
being able to release information
the
across the
rule.
internet is a rule.
Don't make me.
Basically, there's a governance rule.
Don't interrupt me, Mike. We went over it. If you interrupt me, I get angry, I get English, I get intense, and then I'm gonna be more annoying.
Okay.
Please.
Can we?
Relax. Get back
Focus.
to
Okay.
we're trying to do
I can't. Like, I need to give you the whole picture. I'm sorry. This is how my brain works. If you want me, that's how it is.
all right.
And if you interrupt me, I take even more time. So please don't interrupt me so I can finish fast. Okay?
You like?
And we have time. What's the rush? Is there a time that you need to stop?
Yeah, there is.
What time do you need to stop?
9.
Yeah.
Okay, what time is it?
It's 8.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry, I'll pick it
I
up.
want to listen to him.
I hear you talk a bit, but okay. You don't want to know who I am? I can not tell you.
You just told us.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't. You have no idea. Sure, I'm gonna leave you in the dark on purpose.
Well, we want to know.
I used to work for Warner Brothers before I used to. I've always been an anarchist and an environmentalist because I now believe in God. I never did before until the last couple months. Not religiously, but spiritually. I think sun is our God. I think I was possessed or something recently. I don't know. The universe is aligning in such a way, resonating in such a way. I do believe in energy and particles and waves and quantum mechanics. So I do believe whenever you push energy into the world or signals, it's kind of stupid not to. Sorry, I shouldn't talk about reality and that. Anyways, I used to work for an environmentally. I used to do code. I used to do data science for an IHS, uh, previously called Asian International here in Belfast. That was one of my first jobs in Canada. I was born poor with nothing, and I made my way all the way over here, and now I'm rich as fuck. The way I got to Canada was by winning Magic the Gathering tournaments. I love that game. My best friend is Alexander Hayden. If you guys play Magic the Gathering, I respect you because you know to play that game you have to be smart. Or there's another stupid people who play it and they just lose.
It's not very good.
But just knowing the rules and understanding the game requires a level of intelligence that I respect. Usually, some people don't. Yeah, so I only surround myself with the smartest people on the earth. I heard you talk, so now I trust you. I heard you talk, so now I trust you. I really trust him because he's been living with me. We're having a blast. I do not think you're smarter than me, fuck you. But maybe you still have time. We're both very smart, but you're older than me, so fuck you. And I love TV. His brain's amazing, but he's a little bit close. Have you met Sasha?
Yes.
One of the best programmers, in my opinion. On
Yeah.
It's not cool.
We were hoping you would be here tonight, actually.
Yeah,
Sasha.
we need Sasha. He's young and powerful.
So they're working on.
And I will bring my team from Warner Brother Games because they are amazing.
What I was hoping to do with this part of the session was definitely work on the Sensorica stuff and
Work on what? What do you
start
mean?
working with
We're talking
you on this
TV and Sasha's not here. I'm the only one that knew what Sensorica.
Right.
But what is sensory?
I can explain.
Okay.
Sensorica, I mean, it's a lab, a fab lab right now on Rachel. We can walk there right now. It's a very small place right now. And give an emotional story for you guys to remember because most people's memory work emotionally. The way I found it, like last year, I was very depressed because my hand was injured, still injured. I can't type anymore without being in pain. And I wanted to kill myself because my life was built around me typing. Thank God for AI. I have, and thank God for TV. There's a video on the internet on YouTube called A New Economy. I invite you to Google it. That's how I found out about Sensoric. If you Google A New Economy on YouTube, it's made by More Economy. It's a documentary, and they talk about many new ways of doing economy, which I'm very passionate about. I have a major in computer science from McGill, arts, a bachelor's arts, interestingly. So they made a degree the moment I joined that school. Like, McGill didn't have computer science before in that way. They had computer engineering, but I didn't finish my secondary six, like whatever the last math class, because it was too boring. I couldn't sit through fucking vector math. And anyways, so I went to McGill on a scholarship, which I got because yeah, oh yeah,
I can tell you what sensory is.
Yeah.
but major in computer science, minor in
So
finance.
how long have you been involved in Sensorica?
I met TV back in 2018.
Yeah, thank you.
There's an eco toothpaste poster in the bathroom that says "Do not try that TV."
Equal to?
Eco toothpaste,
Okay.
and it's all about peer-to-peer economy.
Yep.
CD has been working on this for like
17 years.
17 years.
Exactly.
He pays for everything himself. I don't know where he gets the money. And so there's a facility 2 blocks that way where he's got a community lab. People are invited to use the lab and work on open source hardware related to the
The lab used to be way bigger,
Yeah.
and something happened. A lot of the people who were working on his projects, he made a beautiful project called the Breathing Games. Have you heard about that project? Okay, so the project that has made him the most money, which is why you should know about it, is called Breathing Games. It's a cystic fibrosis software that creates a fun way, a game. It's kind of like Angry Birds, but like you kind of like, and the kids have to blow on the machine. It's called Breathing Games, so you blow on the machine that you can 3D print.
Yeah, I worked on that.
You work on that? Fuck yes. So the cool thing about that is that anybody in the world can really print that, and the weight even six, which I agree. The most valuable thing he's really, other than the P2P5 thing, that's my intellectual property, by the way, I read that. The P2P5 something. The most cool thing he's working on is this idea that poor countries are forced to do this because they are faced with the choice of saving children's lives or anyone's lives or letting them die. So the way TV sees this is that the world is gonna make it happen, which I disagree because the rich world is not gonna do anything, but the poor world will. So Africa, India, all those people will wanna print things that make people's lives better, like save
So
lives.
I really want to get back on topic.
Okay, so that's what TV does.
All right, so we've run out of money.
Open source and
We're
open
pretty much
hardware
like done the news
to the
at this
big.
point.
Okay, go ahead. No, there's no. Why do we have to stop at 9?
Because people, not only do people have to go, but there's also like,
Well, then let people go and then we keep talking and keep filming. Do you have to go anywhere? I don't
I'm
have
trying to
any.
actually do a specific.
Go ahead.
It's not, I'm not
Do
trying
it.
to do
Stop
something
talking.
that, you know,
Go.
you have something else in mind, which is not what I'm thinking.
I was just talking about TV. It's just
Right,
awesome.
but I wanted to actually
Then do
talk
it.
about this very
Then
specific,
interrupt me and do it.
very specific stuff that you don't know about. So you have to stop
Finish.
talking.
I,
Please stop,
I,
stop.
I did.
Shh.
You're the one who's talking now.
I'm trying.
If you
Uh,
talk, then I answer.
So
We're all still here.
we're still here. Okay. So the whole point though is what was really important about this value network is that if you, so first of all, it's a fab lab type of environment, and he talks about fourth sector. So really, it's about public first, and then not all this infrastructure that's forced off of the public. So we could just self-organize, like as the fourth sector, and save tax, and we shouldn't have to digitally identify ourselves first, or need devices, or all things that exclude 20% of the people automatically, which is the technology we're using already. So there's all there's this gap between the public and technology, like fundamental, like grandmothers and people who can't read contracts or even terms and conditions or even use a phone, right?
And
So,
people that don't want to carry
yeah,
such phone.
right, and
Don't
a lot-
want.
right,
So there's a lot of stuff that I won't get into.
right.
Let's say go to a show. If it's Ticketmaster setting the tickets,
Yeah,
then they have like their rolling barcode kind of ticket. I cannot buy use these.
yeah.
So if I want to go to such a show, someone else has to buy a ticket for me.
Right. So you're a digital monk. So I'm like this. So I'm not as good as you at that, but basically I can't work on anything. I can't contribute to surveillance infrastructure, especially foreign. I just can't do it. I have
You don't do it, or you?
Yeah, I can't. I don't work for for these companies or projects.
I do it.
I only work on this technology.
I don't do it, but I just have multiple personas.
Right. But I'm saying, I'm just saying, like, in this context, I don't. So, um,
I should have
the
said.
thing that they're really interested in is that if you're making this breeding game thing, or you have masks, how do you tell the hospital that it's a qualified product that can get into the procurement system? So how do you validate, right? So right now, when the pandemic happened, they could have made a whole bunch of masks out of the Fab Lab, but the hospitals wouldn't take them, right? So people couldn't get masks and nobody could make them.
Yeah, that's what Jimmy says. Like,
So
as
this
long
is
as you
the
make
type of
something
problem
open enough
where,
and cheap enough,
right.
people will just do it.
So really, this project here is about solving that problem fundamentally, and it's really needed in the
In
world
North America,
to
right?
be able to do this, right? So they right now we have this verification in auth N and auth Z, right, which doesn't recognize consent information, right? And they really just do KYC, which is secret black box, you know. And so they're using identifiers with no transparency or notice, and they're and they're playing with us like we have analog privacy in digital spaces. So we get watts per second and they don't. So it's really not proportionate or reciprocal. And so this infrastructure is the reverse of that. So it enables that. So the first part of the project where Sensorica is definitely being able to just put up their public infrastructure as Sensorica as a controller identification record, and also what their policies are. And their policies are all on, hey, this is important for you, by the way.
I'm listening.
You know, the they have a whole bunch of policies.
I still got going, man. I'm listening.
They have a whole bunch of
I'm
policies.
gonna go away.
Right. They have all this policy here anyways that's basically about how you participate with them, right? So they have governance policy, and they have their views on identity management. So the point is to use that and to put it into, what do you,
Cool.
well now I can't see people. So that's good. So first part of the project is, um, so they have access to the log and people can get keys. And there's certain like mentorship of people there at certain times, and people can log things into the contribution registry. So what we have here is um, the Open Policy Network, which does the governance infrastructure. And that's where things are really falling down for Sensorica. So in this open policy, we have a contribution and a consensus protocol. So the consensus protocol is like we're reporting this right now. So when I stop this, my lab goes through all the points of consensus and makes captures decisions, and then we can like go through them and go, well, so we agreed to these things at this meeting, and we can agree and formalize them. So much more fluid movement by using the technology to basically do that. So yeah, that's basically it. Um,
Yeah.
There's hot water there if you want tea. In the kettle.
Come on, let me.
Okay, sure. Yeah. What were you saying, Mark?
um, so the idea is to they have an open value network which captures how much time people spend on different projects. You can add it to the contribution. In here we have a contribution registry as well. So, but this is for standards and products. So like the Cantera Transparency Performance Indicator, it has its own licenses and things like that. So we curate the infrastructure side of the infrastructure. And that enables something like the Open Value Network or Sensorica to use it. So the second part of that is if someone went into Sensorica and we had a notarization button, you pull a receipt, and then you go in and there's rules on the wall and says, we'll verify you as a resigning party. You can use this receipt as a micro token, and it's connected to your contribution registry. So now you have a token, and on it it'll say, well, 1,000 hours spent in the lab, 10,000 on, in my life or whatever, making product. Here's an example I made in the lab. So now you have like these credentials, which is what they're calling them. So this is basically the binding process, the human binding process that you get to actually make a credential. So instead of them making one on you make one, and then you get to choose how to self-identify. So now, if that's recognized anywhere else online, or let's say services are recognized like, what are you doing? Are you watching here?
I wanna know how it looks like from another person's perspective.
Like,
Focus. I'm listening. You want me to sit down and don't move?
well, I was actually hoping we would actually do the project now and actually make some shit happen. The Genesis moment,
We're gonna do that in my house, not here. Fuck this area.
It's a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's probably better.
Exactly. It's very messy though.
We should have done this on Lizar. Why didn't we do it?
No, Sensoric was,
Well, it was starting out as a,
Sensoric was too small.
a teaching.
You wanna do it already? You wanna hack it now? I can direct them, yeah.
You can go to Lizar guy.
Well, I
You have a key? Why do you have it here and I don't have one? What the fuck?
It's on TV for like 6 years.
That makes sense.
no, there's actually how you
Nice.
how you get a key is on the
I went-
website. You just need to
I got Sensoric now, that's a better space.
So there's a place.
Yeah, we can work there right
The
now.
labs, and it's treated as a custodian, so
It's-
it's not actually a business,
It's
but it's
my
an
place
organization.
now.
So the policies can be basically.
I didn't know you don't give me for so long, of course. What's your nickname on Discord?
Oh my god. Anyways, I'm done, guys. I can't do this anymore.
Sorry.